There is no way to match up Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier and get a bad fight. That just does not happen. It's not in their DNA. It's not in their heart, and it's not in their style. A phenomenal war between the two. I heard Max Holloway afterwards, brother, how did we not get fight of the night bonus? It's because Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen went to fucking war, and Marvin Vettori recently lost his brother. So not a bad guy to get an extra check. Mr. Holloway, who got $100,000 for his performance bonus at UFC 300 when he knocked out Justin Gaethje, or was it $200,000? Did they get fight of the night and he got knockout of the night? Did he get double performance bonus? Max, you're doing fine, bro. Good card. Dare I say, great card. A lot of fun. Underdogs coming through. My boy Patricio Pitbull getting it done against Dan Ige. I'll go through the entire card. I'll start with the fun stuff. We'll start with the main event. Max Holloway showing his kicking early on. Look at the first fight. Max Holloway's a baby. You know, he can get pushed around by Dustin. He's getting out grappled. Second fight, Dustin's trying to hit takedowns, can't take him down at all. You could see Max evolving. He's got the hands going, but the legs aren't there yet. In this last, on Saturday night, he was able to show excellent kicking. He can spin. He can throw roundhouse kicks. It's a mixture. It's mixed martial arts kicking. Took some things from karate, took some things from taekwondo, took some things from Muay Thai and put them together. And that's really what got, I think, separated Holloway in this fight. The boxing's nice, for sure. I mean, Max Holloway's boxing is beautiful to watch. His volume's nice. But, you know, the more he opens up on Dustin with the boxing, the more he would get cracked. Dustin fucking hurt him was it the end of the second round? Check my notes. Yeah, round 2, Holloway paid for taking time off at the end of the second round. We keep seeing this, you know? You saw Kelvin Gastelum get back into the fight with Joe Pyfer when Joe Pyfer thought, hey, I'm up, I'm going to chill, right? I mean, we saw it, I think, twice on this night. Yeah, D-Rod as well, right? D-Rod's up on Kevin Holland, lays off the gas pedal a little bit, eventually gets hurt, and then, you know, shows his conditioning and stays in the fight. I think with Holloway, he's like, okay, I'm up this round. Pink, got to be careful with that. Third round was close. Poirier pointing at him, counting the jabs he landed. Max was like, one, bro. One fucking jab. And then, you know, fourth, I gave to Poirier slightly based on damage. So I'd say 2-2 going into the fifth. Max Holloway, 3 rounds to 2. I get people who scored it wider. I mean, I'd have to really watch it back and sit there with my my notes open on my phone and score it. But a great fight nonetheless between these two. Dustin Poirier hangs it up. Is he done? I don't know. You know, I thought no beforehand. I could see that being a decent ending for him, right? But I don't know. With Nate Diaz floating around, Conor McGregor floating around, the White House show, I don't know. I really don't know. You know, are they really going to want to book Conor and Nate Diaz for the White House show? Like Nate Diaz whipping water bottles at him, the whole Stockton team tearing up the White House. Like what, you know, Poirier is much more bookable for something like that. Repping the USA, of course, as is Nate Diaz, but you catch me. I don't know. I'm going to say Dustin Poirier fights again. And I'll be interested to see what Max Holloway does now. Max Holloway, you know, keeping that BMF belt shiny. He wants a BMF rankings. That's ridiculous. But, you know, I think I could do some fun fights with the BMF title. I like it being around the lightweight area. There's just so many good fighters in that ecosystem, right? 145, 155. There's just so much talent, you know? And you can see that the 145ers can hang with the 155ers in general, right? Volk gave Islam Makhachev his toughest fight in his, you know, championship form. Max Holloway can come up and beat a former featherweight in Dustin Poirier, but a full-size lightweight, over the better half of this decade. So, it's pretty impressive, the speed and the skills that these featherweights have at the highest level, right? Up at lightweight. And Max Holloway is no exception. Some fun fights for him. Max Holloway, Paddy Pimblett, I guess. I don't think Paddy Pimblett's a BMF per se. He is Paddy the Baddie, though. Wouldn't hate that. Poirier and Holloway, really good fight. Really enjoyed it. Don't disagree with the decision, but I think the scorecards were a little wider than mine. That's all. Then we had Paulo Costa doing what all you motherfuckers said he couldn't do, which was defeat Roman Kopylov. Now, I had the dog here. I had Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa hasn't won in a minute, since Luke Rockhold. And then before that, so he's done a bit of a skid. And he said he wanted to get more aggressive. You heard this from him and his fellow teammate, Patricio Pitbull. They both did that. Paulo Costa got into the fire more, whipping those kicks, getting dirty, sticking his tongue out at Roman Kopylov. He was getting into a fucking fight, And he looked good. He's a big fucking middleweight. I mean, Roman Kopylov's no small middleweight either, but oh my God, Paulo Costa is just so thick, so massive. So when he hits you, I mean, these guys, the consequences are high. Those kicks that he's hitting Roman Kopylov with, Roman Kopylov is tough, kept trying to get back into the fight, but never really was able to get a lot going against Paulo Costa. He was always eating a right hand. He was always eating a hook to the body. He was always eating a kick, right? So great performance by Paulo Costa. Good to see Paulo Costa back. Borichinha back in business. Hey, it's good for the UFC too. Paulo Costa, always good fights, right? And looks the part. Funny on social media. I like seeing Paulo Costa fight. Let's keep him active. Dog call by me. Here's a dog I didn't get. Daniel Rodriguez defeating Kevin Holland. Shout out to D-Rod. Shout out to Classic Fight Team, right? Shout out to the people he's got around him. His ability to take care of himself. He does the recovery center at UFC gym. He's doing hyperbaric chamber. He's doing what he needs to. His cardio was on point. You could see, this is his whole life on a line here, He could really make a lot of money at this point in his career, and he needs these wins, and he's fucking getting them. Ponzinibbio, Kevin Holland. Good for him. Kevin Holland got hurt. D-Rod was getting to him. Kevin Holland, trying to shoot takedowns in this fight. Like, it was not a vintage Kevin Holland. But that being said, you got to give credit to fucking D-Rod. D-Rod went out there and beat him up, I guess Kevin Holland was transported to the hospital. It was a real fight between those two. So shout out to D-Rod and everything he's been doing. That's a tough son of a bitch right there. And he deserves the credit. Patricio Pitbull over Dan Ige, a dog I did have, a plus 180, okay, who delivered on what the team said. He got in a staring contest against Yair Rodriguez, and yes, Yair Rodriguez is a different stylistic matchup than Dan Ige is. He's so much taller. There are other issues. Yair Rodriguez is real good. But Patricio Pitbull just fought better this time. He was bit down on the mouthpiece. He stormed across the cage. He was able to land big shots on Dan Ige, hurt him bad, control him from the top position. I mean, you saw Patricio Pitbull, give a flash of his brilliance and what he could do inside the cage. I think people are quick to judge the Bellator guys based off of the debuts, but winning UFC debuts is tough to do. Let's see what their body of work looks like. Great performance by Patricio Pitbull at 38? I mean, he's no spring chicken. Can you imagine Patricio Pitbull when he was 34, 32? You know what I'm saying? Patricio Pitbull's very fucking good. And you guys are about to see that Aaron Pico's very fucking good. So, very excited. Fuck yeah, Patricio. Let's go, Captain Eric. Representing Captain Eric Albarracin Wrestling. I saw it out there, Captain. Beautiful work with the team. Borichinha gets it done. The Pitbull gets it done. badass, man. You gotta love the team, and just huge shout out to guys who we want to see fight in epic fights. You know, these guys are warriors. Awesome to see him get a dub. And class act. Patricio Pitbull, very good human being. Awesome to see him get a dub. Michael Johnson defeats Daniel Zelhuber in what? Upset of the night, I think. I mean, Michael Johnson at 39 getting it done over Daniel Zelhuber. Zelhuber just not getting to him enough. You know, he's shooting those kicks up high, but getting his body torn up a little bit and just not able to use all of his weapons. I mean, I thought, you know, we could see a little bit more of a dynamic game, some knees, some combinations that end, you know, with the high kicks instead of just whipping them up there. Daniel Zelhuber showing he's still a little bit green. And hey, credit to Michael Johnson staying on the gas pedal, getting those first 2 rounds against Zelhuber. 24-19 is Michael Johnson's record. Motherfucker fights everybody, and you never really know when he's going to win or lose. Vegas certainly doesn't. Solid performance by Michael Johnson. This was my lock of the night. Vinicius Oliveira getting it done against Kyler Phillips. Vinicius Oliveira getting into a fight. I mean, just went out there to beat his ass. Vinicius Oliveira went out there to mix it up. He was not out there to fuck around. Kyler Phillips got his ass beat, you know? Kyler Phillips is tough. He started to stay in there. You know, Kyler Phillips, you know, get put in a bad spot, get back up, hung in there to the decision. But make no mistake, Vinicius Oliveira swinging from grandma's house, hurting him and bullying him in that cage. So, you know, minus 140 or whatever he was. This is what I gave out as lock of the week on Premium Channel. I told him it was a confident one. Yeah, my most confident lock fucking all year, I think. I mean, Vinicius Oliveira, you know, by far my biggest bet, and worked out. Let's go, Vinicius Oliveira. Moves to 23-3. It's dangerous, dude. Wild for sure, right? Wild. Vinicius Oliveira, not championship level yet because he's too fucking crazy. You can get countered doing that shit. Was Kyler Phillips the man for the job? No, he was not. Brendan Allen defeats Marvin Vettori in what was a war. A war. Marvin Vettori got hurt early, you know, got taken down. I mean, it was going rough for him in that first round, and he showed his heart, showed his conditioning. I mean, he's done it before, but now that he's lost his brother, I mean, you know, there was no break in Marvin Vettori in that cage. Power to him. He was able to take Brendan Allen down. He was able to get in his face, land big shots. You know, these guys were going at it. Brendan Allen a little bit slicker, landing clean, you know, damaging shots on Marvin Vettori, who was busted up. Huge respect for Marvin Vettori. Huge respect for both of these guys. I've seen, you know, other people besides Max Holloway complain that they didn't get fight of the night in the main event. I like giving these guys fight of the night. You know, they're going to do something good with that money. You know, Marvin Vettori may be burying his brother, you know? Guy fought with his heart. Big respect to him. Fucking sick fight between those two. A grueling fight between those two. Nikolay Veretennikov beats Francisco Prado, kinda. You guys thought he won that? It was close. It was close. It was down to the wire. I mean, Francisco Prado, you know, getting to the top position, landing some good shots. You know, Veretennikov, obviously in great shape, you know, obviously able to hang tough, and the momentum swinging back and forth in the fight. It was a tough one to score for sure. I don't know. I was assuming they were going to say Prado, but they end up going with Nikolay Veretennikov. Shout out to him. Huntington Beach native. Not native, but, you know, lives here, right? Local. Shout out to Kings MMA. Can't hate it. Split decision. It is what it is. We get a split decision against Prado. This is free channel. And then last week, what was it? 3 seconds or something like that. I did a under 2.5. And then the fight finished like 3 or 4 seconds after the 2.5. Now we're due for some luck in the free channel, right? Can we get some luck? Ateba Gautier takes out Robert Valentin. Just kind of more firepower. You know, Gautier, this is why we picked him by TKO. He's just got cannons, man. And, you know, people have called him, I've heard it said, the Francis Ngannou of the middleweight division. Is he not fitting the bill? I mean, this dude hits hard. And so it'll be interesting to see him against, you know, the higher skilled middleweights in the division, because he's got two nuclear warheads, man. You know, everything he throws hurts. He's very imposing in the cage. People are going to have to learn how to deal with that. And Valentin was not the man for the job. Islam Dulatov taking out Adam Fugitt. Good fight until it wasn't, right? Adam Fugitt, southpaw, shutting down a lot of those kicks, getting into the clinch with him, trying to bully the kid in the clinch. You know, hit him with some shots too. But Islam Dulatov showed his level, showed his experience, showed that he has conditioning too, and pushed a little bit by Fugitt, right? I saw a lot of good things in the cage. You know, he looked more seasoned than a UFC debut. And it was impressive how he found that knockout. So clearly showed his skill. And, you know, you don't really know until you see it in the cage. How many fucking UFC debuts go bad? Islam Dulatov dealt with the problems. Like, Fugitt presented some decent problems for him to overcome. Dealt with it every time he got off the fence. And then he was able to put him away. I'm impressed. Jimmy Crute over Marcin Prachnio. Jimmy Crute getting the submission as we called. Jimmy Crute able to do it via armbar. Wasn't the only armbar on the card. Yeah, good for Jimmy Crute. You know, this was the right matchup for him, right? And for some reason, Jimmy Crute fighting in Louisiana just seems to fit. I know he's an Aussie boy, but just seems to fit. I don't know. Great performance by Jimmy Crute. Ryan Spann getting the submission over Lucas Brzeski. Just bullied him. You know? Yeah, Ryan Spann via finish. That's what we were thinking. That's what we got. His offense is too damn dangerous for a Lucas Brzeski. It's just too much. Submission, guillotine, choke. He's got a nice guillotine too. We've talked about that. Good performance by Ryan Spann. I mean, him walking around the cage afterwards, soaking that up, like, you could see what it did to his ego, right? That's what he needs, you know, and that's what heavyweight needs too. Bruno Ferreira armbars Jackson McVeigh. Now, I picked Bruno Ferreira all day, but armbar? That was not expected. Fucking armbars him. So Jackson McVeigh, I think, just, you know, tough luck. The matchup was just a bad one for him, man. Bruno Ferreira, too physical, too powerful. Hits so hard, you got to worry about that shit. And you know, not bad on the ground either. Just mounted his ass and got it done. So Bruno Ferreira moving on up, and Jackson McVeigh, you know, they could have given him a better matchup than this, especially after the pullout. It is what it is. He moves to 6-1, and he'll be back. He's very tall for the weight class. His submission game's good too. He just needs to come up a little slower than a Bruno Ferreira. Carly Judice gets Nicole Kalari out of there, delivers the shot, right? I was saying decision or finish, right? And you know, she gets it done with a wicked knee to the body. Her kicks were solid. These ladies were actually in a competitive fight. I think Nicole Kalari, you know, looked like she had some promise to her as well, but the striking for Carly Judice, just too much, gets her out of there. It was a great UFC 318. You know, I had to kind of watch it in bits and pieces, but every single fight delivered for me. You know, Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier, incredible. Paulo Costa went to war. Daniel Rodriguez and Kevin Holland, who expected him to break a Kevin Holland? Patricio Pitbull showed up to fucking fight. Michael Johnson with the, you know, 39-year-old striking, winning in the lightweight division against a kid and Daniel Zellhuber. Vinicius Oliveira comes out there and bangs. Brendan Allen, Marvin Vettori was fight of the night. You know, Gautier with the stomp of Robert Valentin. Dulatov with the wicked knockout. You got these submissions, Crute submission, Spann submission, Ferreira submission. Carly Judice finishes the fight. This is a fucking great card. That was a fucking great card. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself on Saturday. What say you, chat? What's up, Jeremy? What up, Tyson? Shout out to my cousin Tyson. We just sparred at UFC gym. Got a little working on Saturday. At work, so this is keeping me entertained. I got you, Jeremy. Hopefully, this is the last time I underestimate the Blessed Express. I mean, if he fights Topuria again, I'm going Topuria again. You know, there's like a couple matchups that I don't know. I think Max, you know, looks he is what I thought he was. Maybe his kick game was a little sharper, you know, than I thought. His kick game was really nice. Like the way he was able to control that first round with his legs, that was solid work. You know, I like how he's really settled into his stance more because again, I watched that second fight before this one, and yeah, there's the depth of the stance, the activeness of the legs. He's engaged, he's quick with it, he's on the balls of his feet more, and he's got just more weapons. I think that really mattered. Same work, break Finch time. I fell asleep after the Span fight and woke up right before the Holland fight. Quit smoking that weed. He back heel kicked Dustin's neck. Yeah, he was trying to fucking do him like he did Gaethje, man. Holloway's power looked much better at 155 this fight. He also looked real fast compared to Poirier. Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. He's used to dealing with those 45ers. You know, Justin Gaethje was the only 55 fight he's had. So he's used to dealing at that 45 pace. Absolutely. Yeah, Zellhuber was a fucking parlay buster. Holloway interrupted his rhythm and didn't let him get going early on. Later on, he wasn't moving as much and started to get hit. Yeah, exactly. You know, Poirier has got some power, so was able to hurt him. And then, you know, when he went down, Poirier took a swipe with a hook, missed him, and then at the end of the fight, jumps the gill or ends up wrestling after the point down. No, he jumped to Gilly when he hurt him. He hurt him twice, right? He jumped to Gilly when he hurt him. You don't think Holloway's trained guillotine defense a lot after seeing the fucking Benoit Saint Denis performance? Come on, folks. Pitbull money line and decision was nice. Pitbull did it, man. 2-1 dog. The Pitbull bites. Max kept doubling up the cross. Everything Dustin would get hit by the cross, he'd react and reset and get smacked again. Yeah. Max is smooth with it. You know, Max is a smooth operator. He's the best boxer in the UFC. Holloway versus Oliveira rematch next. I like that. Yeah, I could see Lean and Holloway if they do Oliveira. You know, Oliveira kind of needs a comeback fight, but I think they're just going to keep feeding him, you know, and Oliveira's a bad motherfucker, so I like it. Let's go. Funny that Costa is considered a vet and Kopylov is a prospect, both at 34. It's because he's been around the block, Tyson. He's been around the block. He's been here, man. You know, I saw him fight Yoel Romero live in Anaheim. It was fucking awesome. That was during my bachelor party, actually. Can you guys hear the fire truck going by? And the ambulance? That was at my bachelor party. We did like a, you know, little SoCal vacation, drove up and down, and we did the UFC event there. Yeah, well, that was Nate Diaz fought Anthony Pettis, and Daniel Cormier fought Stipe. Fucking great fights. I feel like Kevin Holland could have finished him if he didn't go for 2 jumping knees, lead hooks to the body, rear uppercut, and cross would have been so much better. He wasn't, I don't know, man. He wasn't snapping his shit like usual, sitting down in his stuff. You know, sometimes you have a bad night. I'm not trying to take anything away from D-Rod, but if you just watch the back-to-back performances, you know, Kevin Holland on autopilot, I don't know. Looked like he was sparring out there. Let's go. The Pitbull versus Ige fight fucking sucked. It was like everything was in slow motion, no offense. That is crazy, Michael. You did not watch the same fight as me, bro. Pitbull fucking dropped him. Pitbull was ripping him with hard shots. Dan Ige hit him with some hard shots. You know, Pitbull elected to control on the ground more. But yeah, watch the highlights of that fight. It was fucking that was a fist fight. If you think that fight effing sucked, you are spoiled. Spoiled. Okay. You don't want to go back and watch fights from the late 90s, early 2000s. You would be sleeping, man. That was a good fight. Finch, what are your biggest fears in life? Death. I heard you can rap. Can you bust a few rhymes for us? I'm cancerous. When I diss, you wouldn't want to answer this. If you responded back with a battle rap I wrote with cannabis, I'll strangle you to death and choke you again. I'll break your fucking legs till your bones poke through your skin. You beef with me, I'm going to even a score equally. Take you on Jerry Springer, beat your ass legally. That's Slim Shady. I guess I fell asleep after the Crute fight, actually. That checks out. I thought Crute was going to break his arm. That checks out. I can't believe 4 out of 5 underdogs won on the main card. Congrats if anyone called all of that. LOL. Had a couple of them, man. Couple of them on the full card predictions show. Nah, nobody picked D-Rod straight. I know. I certainly didn't. Next card looks amazing. Some good dogs. Next card does look amazing. I started doing a little bit of studying. Woo! I'll drop that tomorrow. All right. I appreciate you guys sliding in. It's Robert Whitaker versus Rainier DeRitter. It's a fucking great fight. Rainier DeRitter coming fresh off of that performance against Bo Nickel. And Rob Whitaker, you guys already know what he can do. Watch that Ikram Alaskarov fight if you don't think he could beat a grappler. It's a cool matchup. I'll be breaking that one down tomorrow night. All right. And then I always do most confident picks on Monday. I update the premium channel and the free channel on Monday. If you want to see who I'm betting on, DM at Mike Finch Show on Instagram. You want that Vinicius Oliveira lock I handed out? I got a lock this week. Getting that lock streak started here. DM at Mike Finch Show on Instagram. My guy T will get you in there. And then I'm going to drop the full card prediction show on Friday, post weigh-ins. And then I do my recap show when I get to it. All right. UFC 318 was a hit. I think we'll keep the ball rolling with this next one. I love y'all. Until next time, it's peace and love.